Today's broadcast is a copyrighted presentation of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use of this event without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Andy Serling in the clubhouse studio, soon to be joined by the tan, rested, and ready Anthony Stabile, who's really full of himself today. You think he's bad normally? He's going to be unbelievably bad today. Badly behaved, that is. Anyhow, nice weekend coming up at the Big A. Nice weather out here. A little chilly, but good racing. 10 race cars today and tomorrow. 12 o'clock boats on both days as the racing has continued to be absolutely terrific out here at the Big A. Best way for you to play that racing and all racing. And also we want to wish everybody that's involved in the contest. Had a great number of sign-ups through Naira Bets for the Aqueduct Challenge today. I want to wish everybody, whether here or through Naira Bets, the best of luck in the challenge. 100% deposit bonus up to $200. Use the promo code, and Anthony, you were gone, but you were always representing the show.
Boom.
With the promo code The Big A, or just Big A, I should say. I've never had a promo code. 3 million point hit and split on the late pick four at Woodbine today. Woodbine, friend Jeff Brad is up there.
Yep.
Jeff does. They do a great. Everybody does a great job there, but Jeff's really a good guy. Anyhow, you're back.
I'm back.
You know what else? Antonio's in the studio today.
Yep, Antonio. He's the
Antonio.
real Big A. The truth of the matter is, Antonio's the real Big A.
He's very mad that I made fun of him yesterday. He's very upset about that.
This is what happens when I go away and you start messing with my paisan, and I mean, he's spectacularly dressed today.
Yeah, I know. You were really hurt that I made fun of him yesterday. You were very upset by that.
I got a bunch of phone calls and texts and tweets, and I can't believe it. I leave for 6 days, 7 days.
Everything falls apart.
I come back. This poor guy is getting picked on. It's unbelievable.
I know. It really is. Well, listen. Somebody had to say it, you know?
What do you think about those purple sunglasses he's rocking today?
Antonio's really got it working today. He came up really prepared. He's just another member of our fine team. Our fine behind-the-scenes team.
He's the best. He's my man. My sound. He's my sound guy at dinner in Derby and.
Get everybody together for like a holiday picture or something in the studio to show in the show.
I like that.
Get everybody up here.
It's
what do you
a good
think?
idea.
Can we do that? You'll shoot it from behind the camera, Antonio, right? So we can get all the good people.
Why did you even let him walk you into that?
Anyhow, we've got 10 to talk about. Let's talk about it. Race number one. I regrettably have the favorite Hall Anchor on top. I had picked the one, Real Dan. There's sort of nothing worse than deciding on what horse you want to take against this horse. And obviously, if Hall Anchor runs his race, he's going to win. And to be fair, this horse that, you know, for Rudy, came off a layoff and ran for 12.5, and we were all worried about him, and he was 2-1 that day, and he won by the length of the stretch. So it's not like he hasn't done this before. But here's another layoff. He had 2 terrible races. Probably a horse who's got some sort of, whether it's breathing, whatever it is, constant situation. Doesn't mean they can't win, though.
No.
The question is, does he get clear of the 2 so sublime? We'll see how aggressive others are. Rudy, with this stat, now, one of the winners in this stat is Hall Anchor.
Yep.
But it's not a great stat for Rudy, so I don't love him. I scratched into him. What are you going to do?
I had him last year off the layoff, but I'm not going to mess around with him. I did.
Congratulations.
You
Was
said,
it your last
listen,
winner?
man, you
Was
said
it your last winner?
You said we didn't trust him, and I would like to point out that I picked. You said I was going to be on my worst behavior today, so I'll start out with the humble brag. Yeah, off the layoff now. You know, it's a little bit of a longer layoff. Last year was September to December. Now it's a little bit of a longer layoff, and I think you have to worry that when these horses come back, when they face other speed, he's got to carry the speed the mile again, but now he's going to face some other speed in here.
The question.
Yeah, I think it is with some pressure.
Distance is not a question for him, though.
No, not for him, but off the layoff with the pressure.
He's stalked before.
Yeah.
He has stalked before.
But I don't think he's. I think
actually,
with his issues, he needs to go.
He actually lost.
Yeah,
he wasn't
needs
a
to
super
lead.
short price in those
He needs to lead. He's at the point in his career with his issues he needs to lead. And
So
we'll
you've
see
got
what he does.
the closer. I can't take this horse. Frankly, I've got him second, but if I was going to pick somebody changed it, I probably would have picked Too Fast to Pass, but I don't think he really wants a mile either.
Yeah, I don't think Too Fast.
He does
to
a
Pass.
mile. I'm sorry. He's not the one. I would have picked. I can't remember what I would pick here. This race
I
gave me a
don't
headache.
know if Too Fast to Pass wants the mile anymore. I think that's a fair thing.
He won
to
on
say.
it back in June. So.
He did, but
I was
mean,
confusing him with another horse.
you know,
I got nothing. You got the 6. I got the 4.
one little shot with the other back class horse that if he runs his race, he'll win.
There are far more interesting races on
No
today's
doubt.
card, including race number 2. We'll move our attention to race number 2, waiting for the picks to come up. And, you know, you have the 3 too early on top. Go ahead, because I do want to address what you're
Look,
going to say.
it's second time Linda, and I know that these aren't the traditional second time Linda race horses.
Well, no,
we're
they're not
used to
traditional. They're ones that don't win.
seeing. Okay, well, yeah.
And if
that's
you looked
fine.
up stats, you would know that.
Well,
Second-time starters. Did you look it up? Give us the
No,
stat.
I didn't look it up,
Okay.
but I know I don't need to look up the exact stat.
Yes, you
I know
do.
this is not
You
what
need,
she
you need at
excels
some
at.
point to look up stats.
Okay.
You do. At some point, you need to start looking up stats. Linda Rice, who has these incredible numbers with second-time starters, second-time starting maidens in turf routes. She's just 2 for 18 with an 83-cent ROI over the last 5 years with nothing but short prices. So the reality is she's not good in this situation. What she is good with second-time starters are dirt races.
Yeah, of course. Now, here's the thing, though.
Here's the thing.
I gave it to you right away. The difference is going to be this colt's not going to be a short price.
Oh, he's not going to be a big price, my friend.
No. Well, what do you think he's going to be? I think
3
he's
to
going
1.
to be. What are we at? 29. How much do you want on that?
Oh.
3 to 1.
Yep.
This horse is
7
5.
to
This
2.
horse is no problem 5 to 1.
I tell you what, I'll give you 1160, and I'll take 1150 or below.
Done.
Okay, give me that.
2.
No, 1.
Okay. Done. You got that. I got 1160. You got 1150. Done. They're
They
gonna
can't
bet.
resist these horses.
Okay.
They can't resist them.
Okay.
This horse didn't do any running first time out. You think this horse did any running first
Not
time out?
really.
Was running behind this horse, Hellbender. We'll take a look at Hellbender. I didn't even show it too early because too early did no running in there. I think Hellbender's the horse to beat. I just don't have any argument against this horse. I mean, ran fine in here. Lost to a $500,000 first-time starter for Bill Mott that took tons of money. Made the first move. Mott made the last move. Ran a winning race. Horse to beat.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. But I don't want the horse at a short price. This barn, you know, while the barns had a pretty
You wouldn't
good
pick
start.
this barn with a 1 to 9 shot in a 3-horse field.
No, I would.
I'm
But
not sure.
when you look down at the paper and you see 1 for 45 on the turf, I'm not going to take the barn at 2 to 1, maybe even shorter.
You've got
So no.
you've got troubleshooter second. Christophe Clement Train's going to keep rolling along.
That's what I'm hoping.
Okay, you don't have the 6 anywhere in the money, which I think is a little bit frightening. We'll take a look at the beginning of Dante Fire's last race and then the late part in it. I think Dante's Fire is going to be very, very tough to beat. And here is number 8 horse in this race. He broke fine, but then he just gets completely and totally shut off. The door gets shut, and he ends up back in last. And it's also important to note that not only the favorites won 1-2 in this race, but they also ran 1-2 around the racetrack. So
Right.
it's not like horses were gaining ground. And Dante's Fire made an extended long 4-wide run to get in the race and was still running at the end. This isn't a race where the pace held together and the horse was eliminated at the break. If this horse gets a clean break and runs as well as he did 2 weeks ago, he's going to win here.
Yeah. I'm using this horse in the pick 4 and the pick 5,
Oh, you better.
obviously. I just, you know,
Obviously, I don't know it's obvious. You left him off your top 4. Well,
he's the 5th horse. I think it's the race 2 starts back really bothered me. Really, really bothered
it was
me.
a sprint.
Yeah, I know, but he ran well in the sprint first time.
No, he didn't. He didn't run well at all in his first start.
Okay.
He didn't.
He ran considerably
He also
worse
ran
second time than he did first time.
I don't agree, but he also ran a race second time out where the pace completely held together. He ran in a first race where it was conducive to a horse coming from behind.
I have a feeling
Wasn't he
this
just a different horse when he stretched out, Anthony?
Yeah, I do, but I think I still don't trust him, and I think with John Velasquez climbing aboard, he's going to take a lot of money.
He should take a lot of money. He should be favored here, in my opinion.
He might be.
He should be. Race number 3, caught a big break. Chocolate Ride scratched. I have absolutely no idea why people like this horse. I was completely dumbfounded what people liked about this horse. I'm sorry he's out because he was one of the favorites in the morning line. I didn't get him at all. Frankly, I'm not. What is so good about Bonder, about Mock Tree?
There's nothing so good about him. I wanted the horses that, for the lack of a better term, had a little class in here. And I felt like he just had a little class in here. And that was the main reason
Rob
I was taking
Atras off the claim?
Ride. And Rob Atras off the claim always helps, obviously.
You know what his stat is off the claim on turf?
No.
He's 0 for 7 over the last year.
Well, LeBarn doesn't really win as many turf races.
They're 0 for 7 off the claim. I thought I'd point that out. I don't know. I guess he's not. Listen, I had this race open to the 1, the 4, the 6, the 8, the 9, the 10.
Yeah.
I didn't like the 11 at all. I didn't see it. It is, without doubt, a very, very complicated race.
He's a horse we both didn't put on the board who could definitely win this race.
People should recognize that Daddy DT has run very well in the turf in his career. I mean, this was
It's amazing. This is the reverse now.
Well, yeah, he was an incredibly mishandled horse because he ran 4th to American Pharoah in a Grade 1 as a 2-year-old, and then his connections didn't put him on the turf for 18 straight races before he came to New York and immediately won 2 straight on the dirt. But now they're actually putting him back to the turf. He's got good turf races. The problem with Daddy DT is his recent form leaves something to be desired.
Yeah.
But he is second off a layoff, so he could bounce back, but he did not run well last time. But he is not impossible in here.
No, he's not.
As far as Brucarita? Brucarita? What is that? Is that
Or Brucherita.
Brucherita?
Could be Brucherita.
Draws inside. Doesn't really hurt. Coming inside, and I just thought getting the inside post might enable the horse to get the right trip in a race where he was fast enough to win. You say he has some back class. He is lacking in speed, and that hurts him in his races. And I didn't like his last race. I will not argue against that. But I think you look at his race before that, they're good enough for him to win. I didn't love him. I was hoping he drew inside would help him.
He hasn't won a race in 23 months.
No, I know.
Johnny's climbing aboard. And again, you're going to see, and I'm not picking on these guys because they're very good riders, Jorge Vargas, Victor Carrasco. You're going to see John Velasquez. These horses, they're going to take money. And this horse he's a slow horse that has no speed.
You're not wrong.
That's going to take 2 points because Johnny's riding him.
Bondurant, though, you got second. You know his last win is?
Please.
Do you know what it is?
I think it was 2016.
It was October 13, 2016.
Yeah.
I mean, between him and Mills and Brucarita, there's a lot of horses.
And you wanted to know why I like Chocolate Ride.
Chocolate Ride's just not good enough to win the race. But I actually think Hill's Pond is interesting. Anytime Net Hour ships a horse up here, I'm going to use them. I probably should have put the horse on top. I just don't know if he's good enough. I was hoping Brucarita to get better. But look at Net Hour. Naira on the turf over the last 5 years. He's 25%, 471 ROI. Those are some pretty healthy numbers. It's a guy who just comes here.
A couple of races behind Tuss. The only problem I have with him is the Naira races on his card are abysmal.
They're abysmal. I totally agree. Catch a Cab. I
guess.
Jason Sir is a good number stretching out, but this is really more of a router. And his races for Jason have not been good. His race 3 back was good. His race 2 back was terrible.
That was the point I wanted to make.
But he does fit in here, you have to admit.
Well, listen, it's kind of a dressed-up quarter, isn't it? Like, this race isn't really a quarter, right?
Well, no, it is a quarter. It's more than a quarter. It's just a lot of horses you don't trust running for a quarter.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not...
Probably a better way to put it.
Yeah, it's not a dressed-up quarter. It's not a bunch of 12s running for 25. It's just a lot of horses that could be running for 40 that you don't trust whether or not they could win for 10.
Yeah, I don't trust. Listen, I don't trust any.
I agree.
I would love to be able to. If I didn't have to use 5 in the second race, I'd love to go.
Ultimately, I sort of went against. I decided I didn't like your 9. Not that he can't win, because he obviously can win. I just sort of went to horses that would be slightly better prices. It was really more about that.
Fair enough.
But not an easy race.
No.
Race number 4. Race number 4 is a funny race. We'll look at Hemlock's race 2 back when he finished second. And this was a race that I was very outspoken about not liking at all last time when he was 2-1, because he came up a gold rail, while Todd's horse, who won the race, Alpha 66, who did not run well in the Champagne. But I'm not giving up on that horse. No. I still think that horse might be okay. He made the big 4-wide run in there in the slow pace, and Hemlock was helped by the slow pace. And somehow he still lost this race. He's better than his last race, but he's not as good as this one. You're either going to sort of pick him. I guess you could use Trash Talker, though I don't think his first race was very good. He comes out of a slow race. Or you're going to pick a first-time star in this race.
Yep.
You went with Todd.
That's what we both did. I went with Todd. You went with
Todd
Mark.
Fletcher did a podcast with us yesterday. Check that out, by the way.
Look forward to listening to that.
On Ira.com. Yeah, Todd was great.
Yeah. I think the problem with Hemlock is, and again, I think Hemlock, unless one of the firsts takes a lot of money, Hemlock's a vulnerable favorite. Right?
Very vulnerable.
The first race is an off-the-turf race, and then the second race, the number's dressed up because he's on the right part of the racetrack, and then the last time. I mean,
It was terrible.
That was awful.
What do you
last
like
time.
about Obsessed, though?
I was guessing on one of the firsters. And that was it. I put the first as 1-2. And that was pretty much it.
It's interesting. It's really turf in the second family. This is a first foal from a very mediocre dam. They paid a lot of money for this horse, though. But I wonder, is it more than ready? And given the second generation, that maybe if this is a horse that ultimately ends up on the grass.
It could be. You know, it interested me, though, the fact that...
Todd even worked this horse in the grass.
Yeah, that I
Has
noticed
some good work
that.
at Saratoga, though.
I noticed that, right, the work tab back in the summer, maybe something went wrong, the horse needed a little time. There are other opportunities. He could run this horse a little bit longer. He could run this horse on the turf.
Well, I mean,
right?
even Todd Pletcher sometimes starts horses off in a race.
Sometimes,
It's not
but I
like
think when they get-
every first 3 runs he expects to win.
True, but I think as they get a little bit on in the season, they're placed where they belong
I
more
needed
so.
a tea. If Antonio was here, you know, he could have.
More so. We should just get a tea machine here for you.
I got tea in my office.
We should get a machine up here. Coffee pot or something.
You-
We can make tea in a coffee
Holidays
pot,
are
right?
coming. Feel free to contribute.
All right, maybe I will. I feel like they're placed a little bit more to win this time of year.
Oh,
And think this horse
okay,
is-
fair. Listen, that horse is a total guess for me. My problem is he's just going to be bet because it's Todd. And it's a weird pedigree situation, but maybe horse can run. I'm going to use firsters in here. I put King Meister on top, so I have to strike Power.
Yep.
A very fast horse for Mark Hennig.
Swell winner.
Now, Strike Power is a Speightstown. And this horse is a Bodemeister, so you're not getting the same kick you get from those Speightstowns. But I just took this one. Mark's got, been doing well with first-time starters. He's been having a very, very good fall. I had I just grade in there for Kelsey Danner. She's done a terrific job. This horse worked 10 flat. Workout seemed okay to me. I'm going to use that horse as well.
Two gate works at Monmouth will go to a minute and 47 and some change.
I want to use some first-time starters in here, I'm going to guess. And I figured I'd take ones that would be better priced. We'll see. I mean, David's going to guess in the morning line, and he makes an educated guess. But he'd be the first one to tell you that very easily Todd's horse could be cold in the board, and the other horse could take more money.
I'm also, I was a little curious with Trash Talker, with the term Magna horse. If the others don't show any speed, this horse showed speed first time out behind Americanus and Toledo.
Hemlock's not slow.
I guess he's not slow. Yeah. He
I think
interested
they're
me a
similar.
little bit. If the firsters don't fire and we don't like Hemlock, maybe he's the
I
runner.
think Toledo improved. I think it was a bad race. I think
Okay.
Toledo improved.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna hold that opinion. And listen, I was dead wrong about Toledo last week.
He was
I
good.
didn't
He was good Saturday.
And I mean, you watched the race in my office,
Yeah.
and I was alive with the horses in the pick 4. And when he won, I said to you, I got no problem losing. I didn't
Yeah.
like that horse at all, and he galloped. There's nothing. You can't be annoyed when you're alive to make some money and that your play is to be against a horse.
Correct.
And the horse not only wins, but wins by open lengths.
Yep.
You're just wrong. I mean, to be honest
gonna
with you,
be
as a
wrong.
horse player, it's okay. It's good to be wrong
Yeah.
because you don't feel like I should have won. I should have lost. It's okay to know that you were wrong, And a lot of times, it's better than losing by a nose with a horse that should have won that was 20-1 to a horse that got lucky to win that you didn't like. Anyhow, race number 5.
Dream Friend.
I had race number. Yeah, you took a terrible beat.
Brutal.
Anthony would hit the pick 5 if Dream Friend had won last week. That was really tragic. Race number 5. Anthony, I struggled. I knew you'd pick this bad horse again, who I did even pick 4th at least this time. Southern Brigade is probably going to be in front in this race.
And that's it.
Why do you think that's going to help him?
Why? Because I think the way the course has been playing,
Of course,
I think.
Anthony, once again, they put the rails up on Thursday, and
Yeah, but you still don't think you want to have some more, you don't
No,
want to be, you
no.
wouldn't
Speed
rather
has
be
been no
forwardly
advantage
placed?
whatsoever in
Okay.
any way, and rail
Okay.
placement is only in saving ground. But no,
Okay.
actually, I don't.
Okay.
I think the turf is playing like normal turf.
Okay. I just wanted them. I've always felt this horse was going to be a little bit better if he was able to.
I
Even
don't
if
like
he's-
this horse at all,
I know
so.
you don't. Even if he's not on the lead, just a little more forwardly placed instead of being on that chase, like to relax a little bit on the front end. I just think Rosario's going to put him on the front end today. and
he's supposed
that's
to be
the
in
end of
front.
it. Yeah, and I'm
By
hoping
the
that
end of
that's
it, he'll
enough.
finish, 4th or 5th, but he'll be in front.
No, I don't mean by the end of it. I do think he'll win,
Teasing.
but I'm just hoping that he just gets him to the front, and for the first time, he's going to be allowed to do what I think he needs to do.
Let's watch some of the race between Salt King and Steelers Fan for Life. Well, Steelers Fan for Life was having the run of the race in the front end. Let's watch the early stages for Salt King, who's the number 9 in this race. He just gets a ridiculous trip in this race. I'm not his biggest fan, but in a lot of ways, he's the right horse near. I mean, look where he is. He's been shuffled back to last, out in the 4 path. I mean, this cuts over to maybe the 3 or so path. It's always good to know that another race where Sol Kumin is represented, by the way, right? It's just comforting to see almost every race run in America that Sol Kumin silks one of his 7 stables. When does his push for owner of the year start, by the way?
It's so tough on these mile and 16th and a mile and 1/8 in the turf races to have those outside draws because you're right on top of the turn.
Actually, just kept running this
Yeah,
horse.
he you know what? He did.
You know how many more feet he covered than Steelers fan for life? 71.
That's the equivalent
71.
that's the equivalent of about 8.5 lengths. It's a lot of feet. That's a lot.
a lot
And
of
he has every right to get a little tired.
You know, much like this race where the Clarvich Silks are leaving Sol in the dust. I'm not going to get into that.
This guy's calling a shot.
Well, because, you know, you're back and I want to keep up with you. Anyhow, I think he is interesting. I don't know what to do with Quiet Out East, to be honest.
I almost put him on top.
He wants a mile and 1/8. I actually think he may be more effective going a bit
Oh,
shorter.
and I thought the reason I almost put him on top is I thought the extra distance was going to help him.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
a mile and 1/8 race, he got it late, but he also was much the best.
That was the day with the crazy rainstorm.
Rainstorm, he moved too soon. It was actually one of these where Manny just got unlucky because he was kind of forced to move soon because a horse got in his way and he had to rush him rather than get into trouble. And the horse that beat him, El Romano, got an absolutely perfect trip. I don't know. Linda's got great numbers. Did I put up her numbers? No. But she is good off the claim. Turf routers, she's over 20% with a positive ROI. Horses posted well on the rail. I don't know. I thought Salt. Here's the thing. Who's going to be a shorter price, Quiet Out East or Salt King? I'm not sure David's right.
I think Salt King will be a shorter price.
I think it's very close, and that bothered me. But the other thing is, like, Salt King's last race is the one I like. I don't love too many of his other races, but he is, I think, the worst to beat off that race.
And I think the other problem with Quiet Out East, and ultimately the reason I put Southern Brigade on top, is the fact that when you see a horse that's 0 for 9, beat horses that are Painter's Prize probably 0 for 8 or 0 for 9, Cause for Celebrations 0 for 16 or 17 at this point. I worry about, you know, him being life and death to get out of those ranks, but I do think the mile and 1/8 is going to help him.
I think Steelers Fan for Life might be more aggressive than you see. Joey Martinez has been having a fabulous meet.
Riding
and
really
the reason
well.
he's been doing well is he's been aggressive.
Yep.
And that horse ran his best race in the front end. I know he's not as quick, but he's not slow, and I'm not sure Joey's not going to look to use his speed because it worked so well for him last time. He should do that. Race number 6 is a very, very tricky race. I want to start out with a horse that's going to take money, and I'm not sure how you judge it. David's got him 5-1. He may be right. I never know what to do with Danny Gargan horses. It feels like they could be 6 or 8-1. Feels like they could be 3-1 or 5-2. Donegal Aces did run fine last time, chasing Overbold. But I think as we take a look at that replay, I think it's worth discussing the fact that it was a maiden claiming race. Overbold wired the field. Overbold's not a very good horse. The favorite in this race did no running. And I think this is a race that dresses this horse up significantly.
Yeah, the bailouts, the favorite in the Phipps Black and Cherry Red, he was claimed out of this race, actually. Overbold came back. He did not run particularly well.
Well, couldn't make the lead. When he came back.
And that was the end of it. But, I mean, yeah, this horse was coming off of a March to September layoff. It was almost 6 months, and he got his right surface. But, you know, he was also dropping, like you said. It was a maiden claiming race.
This is a funny race. I think the there's a convention of wisdom that says just pick both Chad Brown horses and one of them are going to win, which is what you did. And I put him second or third. But I'm a little dubious of these 2 horses.
You couldn't help yourself with Dylan Rocks again. And I can't blame him. He's going to be 25-1.
He's worth discussing, and we'll discuss him, but go ahead and talk about Chad's
There's
horses.
nothing to discuss. Listen, I don't really like. I flirted with putting Blameless on top.
Yeah, he seems like a player.
Yeah, you know, he sees 10-1
Gets
on the morning line. Gets Joel.
Hasn't run in a while. He didn't do any running last time. He was 75-1. I know he lost to Social Paranoia, and he was only 4 lengths almost 5 lengths from second, but that's a lot. I wish he did some running last time.
But he's gone 7 months, so maybe something happened that day.
Yeah, but he was 75-1.
You know, listen.
And even if you take Social Paranoia out, he was 30-1.
Yeah, he was 30-1.
So it's not like, you know.
Cut the price in half.
You
That's the
know,
rule.
but still, I wish he took a little bit of money in there.
Andy,
Dam did win 3 turf
unless
races.
you want to take a little bit of a swing with a horse, you feel like, you know, like Dylan Rocks. If I had a horse that I liked a little bit in here, I probably would have done it too.
That's the way I felt. That's the way I feel. I feel like this is a race where there's a horse that I think is a little bit interesting, and I'm not afraid to pick him because I could be wrong. Now, Tiberius Mercurius gets in. A mile's a bit short for him, and to be fair, I just assumed he wouldn't get in. I would have had Tiberius much higher.
Yeah,
the race becomes. I'm sorry, we really have to talk about him. I hadn't even considered. It's just the A's. They rarely scratch in the races here because you want to get into turf races. So I just didn't think he'd get in, and he can absolutely win this race.
He can, but you know, I'll be completely honest with you.
Be completely honest with me.
Maybe I would
lie to me. I prefer you lie.
Maybe I would put Tiberius Mercurius fourth. I don't know how high I would put him in here because of the distance.
Okay, but realistically, he's the horse to beat. The horse to beat in the race got in off the also eligibles, Anthony.
Yeah,
I don't care how you want. I don't
you
care
don't
if you think he
but
can't.
at the distance.
I don't care.
I guess he's
he
the horse
is
to
the
beat.
horse to beat in this race. He's
guess.
fast. There's no killers in here.
Yeah, no, there's not.
As far as Dylan Rocks, no question he did not run a step last time for David Donk. Having said that, he just got lost in the running of that race. They ran off on the front end. This is a horse that has turf races. They're good enough to be competitive here. He's got figures in the mid to high 70s. He's better going shorter. A mile is going to help him. I know he didn't run well last time, first time for David Donk. I want to give him one more chance in this race. I think he's going to get a good trip, honor near the lead, saving ground, and he's going to be a big price. I'm going to try to get him somewhere into the exacta or try. Nobody really scares me in here outside the horse gunning.
With Tiberius Mercurius getting into the race, he's 20, 25 to 1. I'm not going to argue a 20 to 1 shot with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Can't do it.
Race number 7. You're going to argue this 20 to 21? I don't agree with David's line. I don't see how my horse is 30 to 1 in this race. We're going to take a look at Collegeville Girl and Mary's Girl. I'm curious about something. Why does everybody love Collegeville Girl in this race?
I wouldn't say I love her.
But everybody likes her. The rider gave her an unbelievable ride last time. He stayed in the gold rail the whole race. And then he angled out late while Mary's Girl was chasing outside. I thought Mary's Girl ran the better race. The problem with Mary's Girl is she doesn't win.
Yeah, I don't think this filly, I don't think anybody thought she'd be as far back as she was last time.
Well, she showed an ability to rate.
She did.
Yeah.
But I think she was a little further back than people thought she was supposed to be or going to be.
She does very well when I don't bet her.
Yeah, and I just think she'll be a little more forwardly placed in the air. I think they're the two. Maybe use maybe a little nasty affair for me, but that's really it.
Yeah, you got to stop a nasty affair. She's slow. Last time that She's a Super Freak ran, I bet her. And I bet her because she was the lone speed. And on paper, she was the lone speed. I didn't realize that Love My Honey, for my friend Kirk Wyckoff, was going to go on to a complete mission. And she did. She went on a mission against this horse. And this horse chased 2 wide against a super gold rail that day. That was a very strong rail, exaggerating performances. So big shock. She collapsed. She is in front in this race, assuming she doesn't get left. That doesn't mean she's going to win, but she's in front. I don't know what horse in here is supposed to be going on a mission against her. And I bet her last time. I'm not sure how wrong I was that she was a little interesting, because she hung around for a good long time.
When you find speed
I know
horses,
it's 6.5 furlongs, but this is a horse that ran a big figure in her first start. She ran a big figure in her 4th start. So it's not as though she hasn't run some good races, and her last race is not nearly as bad as it may look on paper. Do I think she's a likely winner? No. But I think she's an interesting horse to use.
I don't think you're getting the price you think you're getting.
I don't think she's 30 to 1, but I think I'll get 15 to 20.
Yeah. You'll probably get 15 to 1.
No, I don't think she's a chance she's 30 to 1.
The problem with her is, and on paper you would think there's a lot of problems. The biggest problem, I think, is the extra half a furlong.
Well, I'm not going to not bet a horse because the extra half.
Not at that price, of course not. No, so I understand that, but
I would prefer it was 5.5. Yes, I'll tell you a horse who has a chance in here. Carlisle Bell cutting back in distance. Last time they cut her back, I know it's a sloppy track. She ran a figure that gives her a chance in this race.
Yeah,
I don't think Carlisle Bell should be completely dismissed.
Mrs. Orb came back and won again.
Well, Mrs. Orb is a new horse.
Yeah, she came back and won again.
She's a new horse, Mrs. Orb.
I had a lot of tunnel vision here. This looked like 3s and 8s.
Now, you'll be giving up a nasty affair one of these days.
Yeah, I may even trim it down to just Mary's Girl and Collegeville Girl.
Okay. Noted. I'm sorry Antonio's not here to be there for that moment.
He's fine.
Race number 8. Race number 8. Wow. Wow. I laughed at David having this horse 3 to 1. I thought, what kind of idiot would bet my sister Sarah? Why would you bet this horse?
I don't love the dirt horses in this race.
Okay, I don't either, but why would you bet a horse that has strictly a turf pedigree that is going to be overbet based on turf races? If she was 15 to 1 here and you want to bet her, that's fine.
I don't think she'll be that short. I think she'll be 5, 6 to 1.
If you're picking this horse, other people are going to see the same
I think she'll be 5 or 6
notion.
to 1.
Not a chance.
I don't really think
Not
it's
a
a correct
chance.
notion.
What do you want? You want 11? You want 1160 or up as a winner? I'll say she'll be 1150 or below. We'll do the same thing.
Sure.
Okay.
You got it. What are we at, by the way? 29?
29. Well, we'll be at 30 for this one, and now we'll be at 31 after this.
This guy, man. This guy got jokes. Guy got jokes on a Saturday morning. Anyhow, yeah, I mean, Michelle Nevin sees that this horse doesn't have a lot of dirt pedigree, and she's
Michelle's taking a shot with the horse. What other race are you going to run her in?
Maybe she is with the turf. Maybe she is, but I'll tell you what, she's supposed to get a good setup in here, come with one run. I'll take my chances because I do not love the horses that have competed on dirt in here.
She's just, what Michelle is doing is deciding whether or not she should be running this horse in the winter or not. That's what she's doing. Unless she wants to bring it to Florida, but my guess is this is a.
All right, well, if I'm right, she's 5-1. I'll take my chances.
She's not going to be 5-1.
Okay.
She's not going to be. I'm going to believe in David. And seeing you picking her leads me to believe that other people are going to have that opinion. There's nothing wrong with horses like Time Limit and Playtone. I don't trust Time Limit, to be honest. You and I both have her as the one that's way down there. Mm-hmm. Big Q did not run well in this race. What Big Q did run well was the second start. Big Q made a big move in that race, got in trouble in there, was in the wrong part of the racetrack. If Big Q can run back to her second race, and the fact that she hasn't run now for 3 months suggests to me that something went wrong in this race. She ran so badly in here. That if she runs back to her second career start, I believe, given the likely pace of Playtone and Time Limit, that there's going to now Time Form has this as a slow pace. I know we never get fast paced here. Now the problem is that while you've been gone, the racetrack has made it almost impossible for horses to close on the dirt. Yesterday's track was a little bit quicker than the track the day before. It was a good 2 to 2 seconds faster. So I'm hoping that can change a bit, but the kickback has made things very tough on the closers. But the good thing about Big Q is that she's outside here. And it's up to Jose Lozcano and Gary Gullo to keep her outside, assuming we keep her on that track, and keep her out of the kickback. Because if she tucks in behind horses and needs kickback, she's not closing against anybody.
Well, she certainly gets some post relief from the 2 inside draws from the rail.
Right, but they got to stay out of it. They got to stay out of it. You can't tuck in.
Jose's good at, I think between Gary and Jose,
I'm not questioning their talents. I'm making a statement. Playtone's okay, though. I mean, I have a bad number for George Weaver, which we'll show after we show the replay, but you can't knock the race she ran last time. She runs this race. Isn't she going to be tough to beat?
She is, but don't you worry that last time was the first time she gets to the front, and I cannot imagine Javier Castellano and Time Limit giving her the lead in here. So I'd have to think there's at least pressure put on if, in fact,
Time Limit. Well, she took pressure the first quarter in this race.
Yeah.
But she did.
I know she did, but what I'm saying is she's taking pressure from a fellow maiden, and now she's taking pressure from a filly who's already been competitive in stakes races.
This scared me. This is a barn whose numbers off of maiden wins generally aren't strong. He's 8 for 48 overall, and they're particularly not good with sprinters coming back. So that number suggests these are horses that don't come back and run back to their races.
I wanted to stay away from the speed. I took the question mark on my Sassy Sarah.
Okay, you have my horse off your top 4. I have your horse off my top 4. You want to bet horse for horse? Even though I'm twice the bigger price, I'll bet you another lunch horse for horse 7 beats the 4.
Sure. I'll give you. You want 3 to 2?
Yes.
Make it a little fair. I'll give you 3 to 2.
Okay.
It should be a little fair.
Boy, that's touching.
I'm going to give him mood.
Race number 9. Race number 9 is a tricky race. I'm not sure what to do in this race, to be honest with you. Start by looking at Wish Upon, because at the end of the day, Wish Upon ran well last time. War Canoe got a great ride, speaking of Jose Lozcano, to win yesterday's second race, I think. Now, Wish Upon had the run of this race. There's no doubt about it. And with horses like Periodical and Mean Mary in here, not necessarily going to have the same run of the race. She did also finish second to 55, win a race or not. And she is a horse that's really improved. John Terranova's done some job with her.
And she's not going away. But she only gets to be the length here. No. She digs in the last 16th of a mile.
The slow pace really helps.
Yeah,
but
of
she
course.
Still ran well.
But, you know, she still ran well. I don't think you could take that race away from her. It's funny. We ended Aqueduct talking about her and that other then that was kind of the carousel where the horses ran 1, 2, 3, 4 in some order around the racetrack, and she was a huge price against state breds. And now she comes into this open race, and she's done so much over the summer that she's going to be one of the favorites in an open race. That, you know, you have some fillies in here that could be okay. Just showed you the job that John has done with her throughout the summer and kept her in good form and won some races and earned some money with her. I mean, you always have to respect a horse like her because she can deal with paces and she can go fast on the front end. She can go slow on the front end. She's going to be forwardly placed, and usually that helps.
How many lunches can we bet that Altea finishes ahead of Betty F?
Oh, none. I have Altea finishing ahead of Betty F, don't I? Oh, no, I don't. No, but we can't bet any of those.
Okay, well, you've got her ahead, so I mean, there's got to be a price you're willing to take.
No, I'm not taking any
$5
price
million
on it.
to 1?
No, I'm not taking any price on it.
All right, now let's move on to Civil Union, the 1 of 2s. I don't want Altia to win because she doesn't win races. She's going to run well in here, Altia. This is, wow, this is quite a video. Thank you, Keeneland. This is an artist recreation. I showed this race because I made a giant bet on Cloak of Secrecy. I wanted to say Cloak of Vagueness, who was a horse another horse. I think it was similar connections. Cloak of Secrecy was actually a horse who won this race, was coming off giant trips. A mile could be a bit short for this horse. Chad Brown has these numbers.
Insanity.
This is a crazy number. This is one of the craziest stats I've ever seen. And the thing about, leave us up for a minute, please. The thing about Chad Brown's numbers is the ROI has dwindled because as he's gotten more and more successful, and everybody knows horses are taking more and more money. But for 5 years, the stats that 10 years ago for 5 years used to have $2.10 ROIs have the same percentage and they're $1.70 ROIs. 30% off 250 days plus layoffs and turf routes.
Scary.
With 143 starters, he's got a $2.26 ROI. That's one of the most incredible stats you'll ever see.
Scary number. Scary
Which
number.
says, frankly, they come back and run better.
I worry about 2 things.
I worry about a lot of things.
I worry about the mile tremendously.
I worry about homelessness.
Big.
I worry about a lot.
Big.
Well, my worries
Big
are more.
concern. Yeah,
they're more,
mine are right here.
mine
Big
are-
concern.
I'm more big picture.
The miles are big. Such an idiot. The miles
Don't
are
laugh.
big.
I was serious.
The miles a big concern. The other concern is she doesn't debut until halfway through a 3-year-old year, and now she misses a year, and she's 4.
Yeah,
and
well,
she's not till it's November.
Those
before
numbers.
the year.
Listen, don't disagree. Now, Mean Mary, your top selection here for Graham Motion. I agree. She ran well last time. I didn't put the stats up. Graham Motion. Maybe we'll get another Keeneland replay. Hey, you can actually see this one. Well, it was a year later. They improved their video quality. I don't know. They've got great video. I mean, the funny thing about Keeneland is they were the first racetrack to stream their races. Watching their races all the time. Little, what was that thing used to pop up? That pop-up player, right? Yeah, I love that. It was great. You could always watch Keeneland. Watching Keeneland 20 years on the computer.
I ain't gonna say because I don't want you to get mad at me first day back, but this was some effort.
She ran very well.
She did everything right.
I don't disagree. She ran well.
She did everything
but
right.
But this is a tougher field.
Much tougher.
And
Exponentially
Graham
tougher.
Motion off of a maiden win in the turf is 14 for 95, 15%, $1.33 ROI. With routers, he's 12 for 85, 14%, $1.27 ROI. And what that says is they ain't running back to their races.
Okay. Yeah. And you know
That
what?
worried me.
If I had the same problem with Civil Union.
But she can win.
She can win.
I got her 4th, and I think she's a big-time player.
Yeah. She's another one that didn't debut until late-ish in her 3-year-old year. But she came back with a big effort, first time turf, last time out. And,
She's also got Mary in her name, so she's going to be a point and a half low.
Yeah, that's an issue. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's a fun race.
But you got Betty F over Altia.
I have Altia open. I just want to do a little bit of a. I'm Chalk City in here, man.
Maggie's not going to be nicer to you because you put
I'm
Tom
not worried
Schwartz
about-
4th. Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
this
worried
is
about
an
Maggie being-
absolute suck
Maggie-
up to Maggie.
number one, Maggie-
Bariqua gets in this race, by the way.
Maggie couldn't be nicer to me. Yeah, I know.
I'm going to
Bariqua
work
gets
on
in.
that. Bariqua gets in, and
3
she
race
did
win
run
streak.
well against slow paces, but these are better horses.
Yep,
in my
much
opinion.
better.
But she's in good form. Don't want to knock that. She is in good form.
Yep.
And she did get off the AEs. A couple of interesting horses got off the AEs. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
I don't know if Appreciate, and this race is one of them, but we can turn our attention to race number 10.
Boom.
I'm waiting.
See that?
Oh,
I
you
said
picked the same
it,
horse
it
as me.
came on.
We're not going to show the replay. Why did you pick Elination?
I gotta turn the table. I gotta turn the page. Oh, off the stumble last time. I want this horse just going to be on the
For the first time, Anthony's going to take a look at her actually stumbling. We'll show the
I
last
watched
race.
it.
Get out of here.
It's the only thing I watched last night. Replay after replay when I got home. I did. I watched
This is
replays.
the number. I love the split screen for this. This is number 9. This is a bad stumble. She stumbles significantly, but the thing about it is it completely takes her out of her game because she's a horse that's best when
Right.
she's forwardly placed, and she's completely out of the game. I thought she ran extremely well in this race, and I think she's going to be tough to beat.
That was a good bunch. She ran against 2 starts back. She lost all chance last time and still
Yep.
came on with a nice
Yep.
run. And
2
she's
back.
still-
She ran against Same Moon.
Yep. That's what I said.
And the
That's
thing
that bunch,
is,
2 starts back. It's a
The
good
horse,
bunch.
the horse that's going to take a lot of money in this race, Chicklet's Dream, she's just a nightmare. I mean, I mean, I feel sorry for Javier. She made Javier look so bad 3 races back, and through no fault of his own. She's a goofy horse to ride.
And has no speed. Just no speed. So, you know, I mean, I put a second, you put a third, rather.
She's just a tough horse to take. I mean, she's a frustrating, and it's a frustrating horse because she's probably the most talented horse in this race. It's probably not really that close. But I just can't trust her. I think Chad's just running her race because it's like, where am I going to run her? The race comes up. I like Teletype a little more than you. I think Teletype's improved a bit. And she ran against tougher horses, tried to go 7 furlongs last time. And her race 2 and 3 back are okay.
Yeah, coming back, gets Rosario on the turf sprint.
Yeah. I think she's dangerous. I'm going to use those 3.
Me too. Thought it was 1, 5, and 11.
Can't use Mazzabella. Mazzabella's loss for 7,500 last time might have been one of the most disgraceful things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And rough. She absolutely solidified herself in that race as a complete and total hanger.
I didn't use her.
You happy to be back?
Yeah, of course.
Really? Is your mom happy you're back? Oh, you were with her.
I mean, I wasn't really that far away, and I wasn't gone very long.
You don't think Mom worries about you when you're gone for 2 days?
Yeah, she worries about me all the time. And I tell you what, though, it was good to recharge the batteries a little bit. I did not bet on a horse from
I want
Sunday
you to know,
Friday.
I missed you. Nobody else did, but I missed you.
That's incorrect.
Okay?
A lot of people missed
nobody did. Not a single person came to me and said to me, "Where's Anthony?"
No,
Nobody. Roy. Antonio didn't care. Oh, Antonio was back.
Antonio said something.
You want to come on camera, Antonio? Antonio claims he missed Anthony. You missing out if you're not joining Naira Bets. Because if you're not a member of Naira Bets, for instance, if you were a member of Naira Bets, you could be playing in the Aqueduct Bank Challenge today, right?
How could you miss me? I'm a promo code.
Yeah. Well, I brought it up every day. But the betting, you know, the handicapping contests going forward at Naira, you'll be able to play them through Naira Bets. So you should be a member. You should be a member and play through this anyway. If you play through ADWs that are racetrack ADWs, you are supporting racing. And I understand I work for Naira, and I'm going to support what we do here. But the reality of horse racing is that money has to be reinvested constantly in the game. And we could go through a long discussion about takeout and all those things, and I understand all the questions on that as well, and I'm on the horse player side of that as well. However, you do have to fund the game, and it's not exactly a game that's making a lot of money. So you join an ADW like Naira Bets, you're supporting racing. And also, by the way, you also can get at 3 million points hit and split in the late pick 4 at Woodbine today, too. Yeah. I didn't forget that, Jose. You did, but I didn't. Anyhow, we done?
I think Jose brought you on camera because you were making a good point. That
Jose knows what I want to do before I want to do it.
I mean, that's when you have good chemistry, team chemistry.
So what are we talking about?
Our app.
Naira Bets app.
Yeah, of course.
Don't leave home without it. What would you do without your Naira Bets app?
I don't know. It's like 3 or 4 apps I don't know what I would do without. Dunkin' Donuts. But just coffee.
Run that card out? Did you run that card out yet?
No. Plenty on that card.
That's good. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody? We wish you a best of luck and a fun card today.
Good luck in the contest.
Good luck in the contest. Absolutely. Maggie will be in the paddock. I will be up here. And Antonio, are you going to be up here with me? No. Okay. Antonio will not be up here with me. You will be wherever you are enjoying the races. Have a great day enjoying all the races at the Big A.